When you're blue and kinda lonely too, you'll find a smile will go a long, long way. Though you're down, don't sit around and frown. A little smile will go a long, long way. Never grieve, just try to make believe the sky is blue, although you know it's gray. Don't you find it's just a waste of time? You'll find a smile will go a long, long way.
Welcome. It's another edition of Ron and Jen's Great Escape. It's our attempt to kind of have a conversation back and forth, a reasonable and frank exchange of ideas.
Reasonable.
Right, without the toxicity.
Oh, we're back to that?
Yes, toxicity, which exists.
Yes.
We'll touch on some news aspects, and then we'll get into Jen's news. We'll see what's trending today. We've got some sports to talk about today. We've got a whole bunch of stuff on our Labor Day edition of Ron and Jen's Great Escape. Now, you look at...
Wait,
what?
It's Labor Day.
But it's also your birthday. Ta-da!
Woo-hoo! I get one day a year.
So happy 29th again.
Yes.
Again.
I would never, ever go back to 29.
I would never go backwards.
I would never go. Never. That's right.
There's no reason to.
There isn't. And
Been there, done that, bought the T-shirt.
Well, I bought that one
You
for
did.
you.
That's
Didn't
right.
I buy that one
Yes,
for you?
you did. Life is crap.
Yes.
It says.
So today, I wanted to show you, this is how I got through last year. Jesus, my Bible,
Jesus.
and kickboxing. And so I bring Jesus, Bible, and kickboxing back to the table, literally, for my 53rd. Who would have thought I'd live to be 53 and I'd be sober? This is great. It's so exciting.
It's a trifecta. That's an interesting trifecta.
Saying.
The Bible, Jesus, and kickboxing.
Yeah, I love God. He saved my life. He rescued me. He's my testimony. I don't want to live without him. Direct my steps. Here we go. To another good year.
And that allows you to be stress-free.
It does. Yeah. I love kickboxing, Seacock. And you put these on. These are my actual clips from class. I just love it. I love Candace. I love the owner. I love those people. I love the crew. I need that sort of thing. Everybody should have that kind of a thing.
Working the bag.
You know, like you run. I'm not a runner.
I haven't been running in a while. I got to get back out there.
I want to be a runner, but I want to run a marathon. I just can't.
I'm more of a walk-run kind of a person at this point.
Yeah, but you've run a whole marathon.
No, I have not. I've never done a full. I've done...
You've done like 10.
I think 12 or 13 halves.
Wow. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah, it is. It's 13.1 miles.
That's a long way.
Yeah, it's that 0.1 that gets to you.
What happens?
That 0.1.
Yeah, what happens at the end at Disney? Do you get a beer or a cookie with a Mickey Mouse face on it? Or what do they do for you?
I showed you the medals.
That's
We have a medal. Then they kind of wrap you in a silver thing so that, you know, because you're going to get chills and all kinds of stuff. And then at the very end, they've got most half marathons or marathons at the end. They got some treats for you.
I got to turn my headphones up.
They got some treats for you. There you go.
Oh,
Better?
No, hang on.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Sometimes it's nice to let people see behind the curtain.
All right.
Looking behind the curtain is kind of a cool thing.
There you go.
We let you see.
That's better.
So they give you some stuff, you know, like a banana, so you can get some potassium inside you and stuff like that. And then it's up to you. You want to go back and have a brewski back at the hotel or something like that. That's up to you. But they do have one during the course of the year that's it's a run and wine.
I think I touched the wrong button.
Yeah,
You're
probably
really loud
did.
now.
I know. So we're going to go through this podcast with these being a little bit too loud.
Sorry.
That's all right. You know, you shouldn't.
You want me to turn it down?
No.
I go all back over.
Yeah, all right. Oh my Lord. Okay, she's not going to come through the screen. Relax. You know,
Well, I mean,
we draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Mayor
Alorza in the city of Providence, he didn't draw the line, or perhaps he didn't get the memo. He's under a lot of scrutiny now, drawing criticism, because he apparently, Turn to 10 said he's come under fire for appointing a civilian with zippity-doo-dah law enforcement experience to the rank of major within the Providence Police Department. How can you do that without consulting the union?
Ron, to me, this is like somebody saying, hey, Jen, do you want to be the head of the Hasbro Children's Hospital Pediatric Wing? I mean, I know this is a stretch, and it's not a great analogy, but to me, that's what...
Not that big of a stretch.
No, why would I? I have zero experience. I would never, ever say yes to this.
So where did he snatch this guy up?
And how much is he getting paid?
Well, I don't see a price.
That's what I
don't
want.
see a job. I don't see a payroll thing here. I'm sure we'll get that eventually. But he named the city's park and recreation director, Michael Stevens, as the police department's community relations and diversion service major. So the decision to go with a person with no law enforcement experience, listen to this, caught the ire of some, including the Providence Police Union.
would imagine it would.
Oh, do you think?
Yes.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
That's an evolving story, one to keep your eyes very, very strictly focused on.
I mean, I guess one could argue that if you have somebody with zero experience, that's a fresh set of eyes.
No.
Listen,
That's like saying,
I'm
hey,
trying to think the way they would.
that's like saying, hey, Ron, we're going to make you a chief of brain surgery at Rhode Island Hospital because we want a fresh scalpel into the mix. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous,
Okay.
and you know what? If you're walking a beat, if you're a Providence police officer and you're walking a beat,
They're pissed.
Can you imagine just how pissed off they must be?
Yeah.
I mean, what a joke.
Well,
What a farce.
I really wanted to like Alorza, and he's just making it difficult for me.
Yeah, because he's making a lot of stupid decisions.
You know, I really, really, really wanted to like him. I can't.
No, moving forward now,
Yeah.
we told you this was going to happen.
What's that?
And, you know, our last podcast, I think this dropped the very next day, that the chief of staff to Governor Dan McKee, Anthony Silva, he resigned. The embattled chief of staff. So he said that he didn't use his political influence to get permission to develop a controversial wetlands property in Cumberland. If you believe that, I got some watches in the trunk of my car, too, that you might want to take a look at. He's also now, this is beautiful, this broke, now, days after he resigned as the chief of staff, Anthony Silva's been slapped with a $1,000 fine by the state's Department of Business Regulation because apparently it's tied to the unregistered My Hero Construction Company. So he was doing business and it wasn't even registered. This guy stinks.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, he reeks.
You know what? It reminds me of that fish that they throw in Grumpy Old Men. He throws it in the back
That's
seat,
right.
and it's just sitting there for a couple days.
And it just reeks.
Yeah, you can't find
and
the
reeks.
sting, but you know it's there.
And what does he call Jack Lemmon all the time? Puts.
Puts.
Yeah, you puts.
I love that
You
movie.
puts. Yeah, that's a good one. Burgess Meredith is great in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
He's fabulous. And then the outtakes at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
my
God.
God.
He's
Oh,
so
my
he
God.
has such a filthy mouth.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
He's
it's
so
great.
dirty.
It's very, very funny. It's butt cold out here, and I'm damned out of beer.
Fresh out of beer.
I'm fresh out of beer. That's a good one to go back and watch again. The second one, the sequel sucked, but
Yeah.
you know that was just a money
Sophia
grab.
Loren looks great, but stupid movie.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah.
And Margaret in the first one looks pretty strong though for her age.
Oh yeah, she
Holy
does.
shnikes.
Yeah, she still does. She's Aunt Margaret.
Yeah. All right, so let's real quickly go through some vaccination COVID stuff. Yeah, the governor says the healthcare staff must be healthy, which makes sense. But then again, what happens with nursing homes? They're going to face the pandemic mode, because a lot of those people who work there don't want the vaccination.
Yeah.
Ira Magaziner. I shouldn't say Ira. That's the other Magaziner. Seth Magaziner. He's the Rhode Island General Treasurer. We all know he's going to run for governor.
Yeah.
Right? So this is a political move.
mean-
This has got to be a political move. He calls for mandatory vaccinations of the state teachers and school staff. That's just to get your name in the paper.
Listen, here's a tip, and you may agree, you might disagree. That guy, there's nothing exciting about him.
No.
He needs to bring it up a notch. He's not interesting. He's nothing. He's just kind of like an inside zit that slowly goes away when you're a young kid. Do you know what I mean? You can't pop it. It's just red and sitting there, and then 4 or 5 days later, if you leave it alone, it doesn't turn purple and it goes away.
You know what they used to call those? I don't know if they still do.
I don't know.
Blind pimples.
Oh, really?
Right, because they didn't surface.
No, it's
But man,
so
they hurt.
Yeah. Oh my
Ooh,
God.
did they
They're
hurt.
Terrible.
Horrible.
And if you're a stupid 16-year-old, you just, for whatever reason, you squeeze it. It's so disgusting.
No.
But that's Seth. He's just an inside zit.
Okay. All right.
There's nothing.
No.
No, it's just kind of like, meh.
No, he is not the flavor.
He's
He's not the flavor of the month.
No, I mean, Alan Fung was more interesting than this guy.
You think he'll run again?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Why not? I mean, once you're bitten by the political bug, you always want more.
So you think third
You got a little
time
bit of power, you want some more.
would third time the charm be applicable to him,
I don't know.
or will he be a 3-time loser?
I mean, I can't see the current sitter, be that exciting. I can't imagine Alorza. People will be thrilled with that
Well,
guy.
he's Democrat.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just going down the rows of people.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of who could possibly get elected.
I think the only other
Alan Fung might be.
The only other Republican who's rearing his head is Blake Filippi, the guy from Block Island. So I don't think that's going to... Who knows?
We need the Cool Moose Party to resurrect itself.
Yeah. Oh, I miss him.
Yeah.
He was a very smart man.
He was smart. I mean, embroiled in some scandal, potentially.
Possibly.
You know, there was some stories 6-7 months back about him, handling funds.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. But, boy, was he a fascinating guy.
He sure was.
M. Charles Bax used to say he's just a haircut and a shave away from being the governor.
Yeah, he always found something. I always wanted to say, is there something hidden in your beard that we don't see?
Yeah, that could be.
I was waiting always for him to pull something.
Right. Prizes.
A young child, fries, something out of there.
There might have been fries in there, from a long lunch, long lunch ago, whatever. Boom, another 200.
Rest in peace.
Another 300 votes to put him over the top, right out of the
maybe
beard.
That.
Right out of the beard. Now, this actually ties into something you got in your stash there, the Superman building. And then we'll get into Jen's news. One particular councilman here in Providence, whose last name escapes me, John, I'm going to say Goncalves? Goncalves?
Yeah, I'm not even going to go near that.
But he's a Providence councilman, and his ward includes downtown. He's asking Jorge Elorza administration to study having the city of the state take the Industrial Trust building, the Superman building, take it by eminent domain, as a means to preserve the Rhode Island landmark. Whether or not that's feasible, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It belongs to somebody.
Yeah. Last week, the governor said that the owner of the building, that's High Rock Development, he said that they had asked for about $40 million in state subsidies to convert the tower to residential use. Whether or not that actually can come to fruition, I don't know. But there's a story that's kind of tied in the frozen north in Woonsocket that's in your stash that... they want to do something with the building there, too. So we're going to turn it over now to Jen's news.
Well, I'm looking. I see ABBA's reuniting.
Right. Keep going. There it is.
Deteriorating building.
There it is.
Is that it?
That's the one.
Should I do that now, then, before Jen's news?
Do that, and then we'll just segue right into Jen's news.
A deteriorating building could get new life in Woonsocket. Developers propose micro-loft apartment. Who's going to pay for micro-loft?
In Woonsocket? Well, wait a minute. Now, listen. Let me point something out.
I used to live there, Ron.
But, people are looking for anything that's affordable these days because the price of real estate is absurd.
Is true.
It's nuts. And maybe if you work in Boston, that's not a bad place. But those micro things, this desk is bigger than most of those things.
Well, how much? Well, look. The story is a pair of mass developers have an ambitious vision for a historic building in the heart of downtown Woonsocket. Matthew Kelly and Mark Fantasia of Red Brick Companies hope to convert the former Rhode Island Hospital Trust building on Main Street into 80 to 100 micro-loft apartment units. I'm looking for how much they're going to charge for this.
Well, there's no money stated in there. But,
it would also house a retail business such as a gym or a coffee shop.
On the bottom floor.
I don't know. I'm going to have to look into this. I wonder what the city council and Lisa Baldelli, the city's mayor, I wonder how they... I mean, it seems
Well, you're born and raised in the city on the move, the frozen north. They say that this building is right across the street from City Hall.
It's falling apart.
I'm not familiar with downtown Woonsocket. It's not off the top of my head.
You know where Coney Island Wieners is, right on Main Street?
No.
You don't know?
No.
All right, you know where the bridge is?
Yeah.
Where they used to put, so it's right down the street from the bridge.
Is it near the theater?
It's on the way to the theater.
Okay.
It's literally about, if you're walking, about 7 minutes. If you're walking at a good clip, it's about 7 minutes from.
We got married. My wife and I got married at that Episcopal church that's right before the bridge.
Oh, I know. Do you know where the Santa Claus house is always?
No.
Oh,
I'm not.
I wasn't. Say hi to Santa.
I'm not from Woonsocket. I'm from.
Do you know where the McCarthy's clock is?
No.
Oh God.
No.
Whatever. Anyway, well, I guess that's good news. I hope. I know that there was a big story about how there's another Market Basket opening or already opened in Johnston.
Yes.
And I was reading about how, it's an old story, about how Woonsocket, they were trying to lure in a Market Basket into the city because it really is a food desert there in many respects.
Well, where that McCarthy's store was on Diamond Hill Road, that'd be a perfect spot for a Whole Foods, wouldn't
There's
it?
nothing. There's
or a
P.S.
Market Basket, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Look, Woonsocket needs some help, and I can't imagine being the mayor and being in charge and being on the city council. God bless those people. But listen, that's your job. Mine is to deliver Jen's news.
All right, and
Okay.
here it is. By request, by the way. This
By
is my
request.
request because I really wanted to have the Jack in the Box brought back. Uh-oh. There it is. Weasel, ba-dum, 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 pop goes that weasel. Very nice.
There you go. So he didn't want the kazoo this week.
Then we'll go back to the kazoo in the next podcast.
Okay.
But this was to celebrate Labor Day.
And
with the
my
sock
birthday.
monkey.
Notice
and
there's
your
no
birthday.
balloons or
With the
presents
sock monkey.
or nothing.
I gave you jelly. I gave you what are those things?
Gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
You know, that kind of sucks, though. You get one day a year.
What? So? Anyway.
All right. Anyway, I was hoping he'd, whip out a present from behind the chair and say, but I really got this for you.
Me. Look what is behind us, by the way.
Yes, what is?
That is Pee Wee Herman.
It sure is.
And Gumby behind us. And that we'll bring them forward in the next podcast and give them a focal point.
Okay. Well, listen, I understand Jen's News, America's favorite segment. Whoever they are really want people to get inoculated. Okay, and so a Washington jail, Ron, is offering something very special to its inmates.
What might that be?
10 free packages of ramen noodle soups if you get the vaccination.
Yummy.
Yeah, since the first of the month, last month, Benton County Jail has been giving away one of its most popular commissary items to inmates who sign up for their first COVID shot, ramen noodles. And by the way, by the end of the first week, the jail would have given out 900 packets of noodle soup to 90 inmates who said, I don't care, give me the shot, I'll get my ramen noodles.
And that's in Washington State.
Yeah.
I think I had 900 packages of ramen noodles my first year in college.
What was your favorite? There's beef,
thanks.
Oriental, chicken, and that's it.
You already asked me that a couple of podcasts ago, and my answer was, I'm going to be consistent in my answer.
Yeah.
None of the above.
None of the above?
They all sucked.
Well, yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do when you're in school.
Anyway, any inmate, no matter how long their stay, is eligible.
So if you're on death row, can you get it?
Yeah. Right. I mean, if you're on death row, by the way, you might not want a McFlurry. Have you heard that story?
I heard that.
Yeah. Well, the
machines keep breaking down.
Well, the company that made the machines are saying, and there's a big lawsuit about this. This is just a little side issue in Jen's News that basically these small businesses, these franchisees of McDonald's want to be able to get their own people to fix the machines, and the people that make the McFlurry machines say, only we can come in and do that. They have an $80 million business doing that, by the way.
That's why it's worth $80 million.
Right, and the government says something stinks here. We don't. So if your McFlurry machine is broken down, don't be shocked.
Maybe McKee's former chief of staff's running that company.
Maybe.
Yeah.
How about this breaking news about 4 or 5 days ago?
Nah. How can it be breaking news if it's 4 or 5 days old?
I said, how about this breaking news 4 or 5 days ago? Meaning it was breaking news 4 or 5 days ago.
It's dusty now.
Yeah, Cam Newton, Ron. Got people are freaking out about this, and
why?
I don't know.
He got outplayed.
He sure did. But WBZ sports director Steve Burton said his understanding of what led up to this, by the way, was that he went to Atlanta to have a doctor's check on an ankle injury. He also wanted to see his children. The team approved the visit, but according to Burton, the sports director, Newton left Foxborough without being tested, and that's what violated the protocol. Yes. So, I mean, I don't know. People should know this by now, but you may not know that information. But last night's headline, NFL teams don't want Cam Newton.
Well.
Would you?
Well, first of all, he only had one good year.
Yeah,
it was a great year. He was the MVP in 2015. He was unbelievable. He was unstoppable. But if you look at you take that year and put it with everything else, he's sub 500. He can't throw the football.
No, he can't. And
he's done.
He's a powerful guy to have in the locker room. But and he's still going to get his millions. He's going to get over $3 million from the Pats.
The only place I see him fitting in is with a team that might want to throw a quarterback in there when it's like 3rd and 1. But I don't see. But Belichick, by the way, denies that it has anything to do with the vaccination. But I'm sure that's just told.
I was kind of shocked, but I was really glad because I did not want to watch a whole nother season with Cam Newton as quarterback.
No, I just
last year was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't
even watch the last 2 games. You know I'm a diehard fan.
I know.
I called you and said I can't watch this.
It was It was painful.
It's embarrassing.
It was painful. This team will be very much like the 2001 team. It's going to be dunk and run. It's going to be short passes, and it's going to be a lot of defense. They got a great pass rush.
Keep your eye on Game 4, folks.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, and finally, in Jen's news today, Michael Jordan. He's back in the news. Why? Because his underwear is hitting the auction block. If you love Michael Jordan and you always wanted a piece of him, this could be the closest you're ever going to get. A unique item of Michael Jordan's clothing is hitting the auction block. Boxer briefs. Now, they're extremely used. They're heavily used. That's how they're being listed.
That's disgusting.
They're going for the starting bid is $500. So they're not really sure when they say that it's heavily used and show definite quote. That's in quotes. Definite signs of use. Maybe they got skid marks.
I'm gonna say, what, they got skid marks on?
I don't know. Maybe urine stains.
Well, that's disgusting. Are they tighty whities? Are they boxers?
They're boxers.
Boxers. Okay.
They have been clean, but they're still nasty. The auction ends on September 25th, and there's also a ton of other items. So if you are interested, Leland's is auctioning off a pair of Michael Jordan boxers. So if you want to see other items, go to Leland's on the internet, lelands.com.
And how do people get in touch with you?
Oh,
for this fine program?
Yes, Jen Brand.
Yep.
At rocketmail.com. Look at your shirt. Life is crap.
Yeah. Well, that's just tongue in cheek. We don't think life is crap.
I know.
We think life is great.
It sure is.
And don't forget to follow us on our weekly column that appears in Rhode Island Newstoday.com. Check that out, and we're on Facebook, too. Our page is Ron and Jen's Great Escape on Facebook, and we put some questions up there and some videos and stuff to share with you. So thank you for your news. Some of the stuff that's trending today.
Yes,
this
what
is
is
beauteous.
trending?
The top companies that care about their people. All right? Not every company is strictly out to make money. Yeah, right.
Citadel?
And now People magazine is recognizing ones that go out of their way to show that they care. Top 10 companies that apparently care.
Okay.
Hewlett-Packard, Salesforce, never heard of it.
I don't know what that is.
Bank of America.
Okay.
Camden Property Trust.
Don't know.
Don't know it. Capital One.
Oh, what's in your wallet?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Accenture. Well, I have no idea what that is. Hilton, which always gets good reviews.
Really?
And then the top 3 companies. Pult Group, never heard of it. Cisco and Wegmans Food Market Incorporated, top 10 companies that care. Notice you didn't see any broadcast companies.
I was right about to say that. There are none.
Let me look at the other side.
No.
No, there's none there. None there either. And then, just to wrap up what had to be an awful week for this guy, Mike Richards. Oh. Not only does he resign, that he is the host of Jeopardy, after let's face it, that was just like reeling suckers in when they did all these auditions. Because they knew they were going to give the gig to him, the executive producer. But guess what happens? He has to wind up resigning. Actually, they didn't resign. They canned him as the executive producer of both Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. So this guy went from the penthouse to the outhouse in the course of a week. I hope he saved his money.
What's really curious about that story, Ron, is that some people, when they've got a past behind them, whether it be ugly things they've said or controversial things they said or painful things about a religious group, ethnicity, so on and so forth. Some people can survive. Look at Joy Reid over at MSNBC.
Some people can.
Right? So you can say, that was just a quick thing that came to my mind, but there are some people in life that can say things that really are upsetting to people, and they can still find their way. He is not one of them.
No, he's not.
Isn't it interesting how some people get a second chance, some people don't? Ellen is now on the bottom where she was on top. It's just, we're so strange, as a species, as a culture. What we use and what we think is interesting and how we forgive and if we forgive.
I think I'll toss in the fact that this guy's really a nobody.
Yeah, he is.
So he's like
zero.
Very easy to discard.
I don't understand why they thought it would be a great idea to give him that job
I don't
instead of somebody high profile.
You know the great scene when Mr. Hand makes Spicoli leave because he's late for his class, and Spicoli's response to him is, "You dick!"
Yes.
Right? Apparently, this guy Richards is a dick because in a tweet, remember this guy James? I always mispronounce his last name. He's the ultimate winner. He won the most money ever on Jeopardy. James Holzhauer. In a tweet, he said, quote, "Do I think Mike Richards' podcast comments were appropriate for polite society? No. But did he deserve the benefit of the doubt for the job he did running Jeopardy? Also no." And then he posted, "Ding dong, the witch is dead," from The Wizard of Oz.
Wow.
But he goes on to say this. The former champ added in another tweet why he was glad to see Richards get the boot. He said, quote, "I judged him by the way he treated people backstage at Jeopardy, and I formed a much stronger negative opinion."
Nice.
So the guy, you dick.
I mean, I just, yeah.
So he caught up with him.
It usually does, Ron.
Well, this guy, he's a nobody. So he's, as I said, so he's a lot.
Sometimes it takes 20, 30, 40 years, but listen, my mom says this. She used to say this. Pay now or pay later, but you will pay.
You know what my mom said to me?
That's what she said.
When I turned 18, you know what
What's
she said?
that?
Get out.
Get out. Well, yeah.
That was it.
That's what I hear as soon as this podcast is over.
Yeah, well,
Get out.
which it almost is, by the way.
It
so
is.
we're going to fall back on, you can do some food news if you want. You
Okay.
can do some Fur Friends news. But before that, I do have a Brouillon of the Week.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
It's Francisco Lindor and Harvey Baez are sharing this.
Okay.
Co-Brouillons. Those two idiots, did you see what they did?
I don't know.
Because the Mets fans were booing them.
Yes.
Because they suck.
Yes.
And they're a couple of overpaid weenies. So they were getting their asses booed off, and they decided, a little group of them, 3 of them, Lindor, Baez, and some guy who used to play outfield for the Red Sox who's just a backup, that if they reached base, they would look at the fans in the stands and do this, thumbs down to them. And this guy, Lindor, just signed a 10-year, $310 million deal with the New York Mets.
Whoa.
So how stupid is he to piss all over his fans?
Arrogant.
Stupid.
I don't think he's stupid.
He's
I
a
think
brouillon.
he's super prideful and just thinks,
Yeah.
you know,
up yours. And,
yeah.
and you, the people who are paying them $31 million a year.
right up your keister.
Yeah, so screw him. So those are They did apologize afterwards. Oh, gee. You know why? Because the Mets ownership got behind it and said, "You're idiots. You shouldn't be doing that. Crapping on the fans. They pay your salary."
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that. Now
That's
we'll turn
that?
it over to you.
Is that another show in the can?
So almost.
Are you going to grab
Almost.
your accordion?
I am.
Okay, so while he's doing that, I want to tell all of my friends out there that love their pets.
Your peeps.
And yes, and that are pet owners or just pet lovers or whatever it is. You're normal because most people can't go a day without their pet.
And that's true.
I don't, Hazel is the highlight of my coming here.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate
Wow,
that.
I know. A new survey finds, Ron, that 24% of pet owners say they can't go a day without their pet, which I think is extraordinarily low. 72% admit to feeling depressed without them. Well, that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
You're a different guy when you're not around an animal. I'll say that. 88% say having their pet by their side makes them feel complete. That's true. 84% of people say their pet has brought nothing but pure joy into their life. And 81% of us who have pets or love animals say that when we have pets, they make us better people. They do. They teach us about real love.
Let me see if I can.
As Jody Watley used to say, real love.
Let's see if I can add a little bit.
It's my birthday. I made it. I'm actually 53.
How about that?
And I'm not wearing a poise pad yet. I still have control of my bowels. I know that when you get older, you lose that. And you get a AARP card.
Well, you're going to get that. You know what? You already got it. You're 50.
Yeah. Jesus, we love you. Thank you for keeping me alive. I have a lot more work to do.
Happy birthday and happy Labor Day weekend. Stay safe.
You'll find a smile will go a long, long way.